Hi, I'm Kristen Denny-Chambers, clarinetist, composer, and founder of Clarinet Playground. This is video number 7 out of 40, going through all of the etudes of Finger Fitness Études Book 2. This is Legacy. Legacy is dedicated to Krystal Williams. Krystal is a music adjunct lecturer for woodwind methods for the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and she is also the music theory teacher at Northwestern High School's Visual and Performing Arts program for Prince George's County Public Schools. Before that, Krystal served as the band director at Western High School for 8 years and 14 years with Baltimore City Schools. Krystal holds a BA in music and an MA in teaching from the College of Notre, Maryland. Krystal is currently serving as the Music Technology Chair for MMEA Maryland, the Professional Development Chair for the Association of Black Women Band Directors, a member of the Women Band Directors International Association, and a member of the Baltimore Alumnae Chapter of Sigma Alpha Iota. Krystal is another special connection that I've made during the pandemic. She is incredibly driven, knowledgeable, and I learn something new every time I hear her speak. Krystal's maiden name is Vines, and it has a very strong lineage, so much so that she has never met a Vines that she wasn't related to. And of course, in American culture, it's customary to drop the maiden name, but she never dropped the strength of it. Doing so would deny her son of that part of her family that she's most proud of, resilience and strength. A vine makes complex connections that intertwine together with other families to make even stronger bonds. When Krystal thinks about this etude, she thinks about her mother. Her connection was cut short, but she managed to pass that same Vines family strength down to her daughters. Let's take a look at the music. All etudes in this book have little practice tips at the bottom of the page. Look for those. For this one, it says, take liberties and linger on any low Gs, long note values, and any other notes that you feel need more time. There's a lot of flexibility built into this etude, so keep that in mind. There are 2 finger drills at the top of the page. Study those carefully because that is the skill that is folded into the etude. This one's a little bit tricky because we have to move from B flat to E flat. And this is intended for the traditional fingering, so no 1/1 cheating on this one. So lean into that side key as directly as possible while keeping the first finger curved in order to return as cleanly as possible. So we want that movement to be as clean as it can be and well coordinated. The style and character, it's slowly singing with reflection and rubato. There's a lot of flexibility here. You can really stretch and sing, and especially ends of phrases, you can take time before you take a breath. But mostly just think of it as being sweet and hopeful. Imagine protecting your own legacy while empowering your children amidst any kind of hardships that you might be facing. So let's take a look at the opening phrase, and I'll play a little bit for you. When you get to measure 19, it can move a bit, but maintain the gentle character. What we want to avoid is it sounding like a technical piece at this point. So let it flow and let it move, but still be very smooth and legato. The rhythm in this etude is pretty straightforward. If you take a look at that first phrase, you'll notice there are eighth notes, quarter notes, dotted quarter notes, there are half notes, and some 16th notes as well that you'll see later on. But everything's pretty straightforward. There is one triplet in measure 10. Just make sure you divide the beat of beat 4 very cleanly. And I always want to think about the triplet going somewhere, so make sure you're headed to the next downbeat on the next A flat. I'll play that measure for you. In the gently flowing section that starts in measure 19, you'll see 16th notes combined with some 8th notes. The 8th notes are meant to be places to rest or linger a little bit, so take advantage of those places to just pause and stretch a little bit. I'll play starting at measure 22, leading all the way to the fermata at the beginning of the cadenza. And that brings us to the cadenza. So you will see 30-second notes here, but please feel free to stretch as much as you want, make it as expressive as you want. There's absolutely no need to rush through those notes. Let's take a look at some areas for focus. In general, learn it very steady. You may need to just really count through the rhythms, make sure you're playing it steadily with a metronome, and then you can experiment with your rubato and your flexibility. Work to play the upper clarion notes very sweetly and without any force in that opening section. I'll play a little bit from measure 9. The middle section that starts at measure 19 is full of tons of finger traps, and you've got to work on the pacing. So play that really steadily at first, make sure your fingers are working very cleanly, and then you can work on the pacing. And then finally, the cadenza, like I mentioned before, it looks intimidating, but really just relax and stretch, and you'll be just fine. If you turn to page 50 in the book, you'll find the low C version for Legacy. I always say learn the original first as a rule. In measure 19 to 18, that's mostly taken down, and measure 22 and the final measure is altered. The middle section and the ending are close to the same as the original. And now for some final thoughts. Here are some notes from Krystal Williams on Legacy. This piece should be played with close attention to phrasing and making the connections between cadential phrases seamless until the very end. Although each thematic line makes a contrast in direction, it always returns to the A theme. Make each restatement more present than the one before. Expression is key with this piece. To listen to a beautiful recording of this etude and all other etudes from this book, head over to my website, clarinetplayground.com. Trevor Stewart has recorded all 40 etudes beautifully, and they are available for purchase there on my website. Feel free to join us in the Clarinet Playground group on Facebook where we play and post for each other. And head over to my website at clarinetplayground.com for more fun music and books. Thank you so much.